Welcome everybody to this week's World of Tanks subscriber replays. My name is Maxwell and today's first video is from the user Bloody Fear. That's Bloody Fear. He's driving the IS-3 on an encounter battle on the Sand River. And as always, there is a few announcements to make before we get too far into this video. So the channel's been getting some good growth over the last few weeks. So as sort of a thank you to you guys and to increase interaction with you guys, I've decided to go ahead and set up a public TeamSpeak 3 server. And the idea behind that is it's just so that you guys can feel free to jump on there and use it as and how you like. So if you like to jump on there and just have a few games with your friends but don't want to use the World of Tanks voice communication system, or you're sick of Skype, or you don't really have anything to use, then feel free to jump on TeamSpeak, our TeamSpeak server, and just go ahead and use that however you like. There should be plenty of space on there for as many people as you wish. Or you can get on there and have a few games with myself or any of the other guys from the community channel. Nice driving there, Bloody Fear. It's crashing into a rock. So yeah, the link to download TeamSpeak 3 and the server information will be in the description below, so just click the show more button and have a look for that one. Like I said, it's a public server, so there's no password on it, so feel free to just jump on, get yourself in a World of Tanks platoon room or whatnot and just use the server however you like. I will be on there whenever I'm playing World of Tanks, so if I'm not already in a platoon, then feel free to ask me, and if we've got time then we can have a couple of battles. Secondly, a few people have been asking what mods that I use and where you can download them. That's the reticule mod and the minimap mod and XVM and also and whatnot. Again, the link for that will be in the description below, so you can just click on that link, download that from Mediafire. Install instructions might be in the zipped up RAR file, but I'm not 100% sure. But I'm sure you can just Google how to install the individual mods. It's fairly easy, so I'll just leave that to you guys. Bloody Fear spots out the enemy scout here, the 131. He's decided to repair his track and try and reverse the hell out of there. To be honest, what the 131 should have done in that situation is carried on driving, as he's a lot faster in a straight line than he is on the reverse. So when he saw that Bloody Fear started to try and head him down, he should have just continued driving straight ahead to try and get around behind him and then make a run that way. That probably would have saved his life, to be honest, if he could have got around behind him and then over that sand dune. So going to be overlooking the cap zone here and seeing if we can get a hit on anybody as they mill about. Managed to get a good shot on that bat chat there. So like I said, the mods themselves, it's pretty much you just replace, you go to your game installation folder, find the mod folder, and then replace the 8.7 folder with the folder in the RAR file, and then you put the XVM folder in there as well, and I'm pretty sure that is all you need to do to get the install working. Oh, a nice shot on the VK there. Good work from Bloody Fear. And yes, I knew there was something that I was fighting with that VK trying to hide, but Bloody Fear can see the top of his turret and indeed picks him off for his second kill. And yes, I knew there was something I was forgetting, so I just want to say a big congratulations to the winner of the last Guess the Thumbnail competition. It was indeed the LTP on Province, the Learn to Play tank on that horrible, horrible camp map Province. And the first person to correctly identify that that was the tank and the map was Crab Gaming. That's Crab Gaming, so congratulations to you for correctly identifying the LTP and the Province. And of course, if you'd like to try and identify the thumbnail for this video, you just try and be the first person to guess which tank it is and which map it is, and you'll win yourself a shout out in the next video. So Bloody Fear on a bit of a rampage here. Is the only person from his team who went to the cap zone, I'm fairly sure, and he has single-handedly prevented the enemy team from capping there. They did have about 3 or 4 tanks in the cap, in and around the cap zone. Oh, this bat chat is in trouble, and that is him taken out. So yeah, there was about 3 or 4 tanks in and around this cap zone, and Bloody Fear did a fantastic job of being able to take them all out and single-handedly reset the cap there and keep his team in this game. So going to be moving himself in and going to be squaring off against 4 enemy tanks, and they have an E50 and an E50M on their side. Are they looking particularly healthy? No, they are not. Not very many hit points between the two of them. So just going to play a game of patience here. I'm going to wait for the enemy to come to them. They're facing off against a Tiger II, an IS-3 and an E-75. The E-75 is going to be a little bit difficult to take out because from the front that thing is a bit of a beast. As you can see, he's saying in the chat that he'll play bait, and then the medium tank can come and try and flank around the sides and rear of this E-75, and that's definitely going to be the easiest way that they're going to take him out. Let's see if we can get a shot on that commander's hatch, but no, it looks like he gets into cover just in time, and Bloody Fear doing the smart thing of not wasting a shot there. If he'd had that shot, it probably would have bounced on the turret, and that E-75 would have been able to get a shot back at him, especially with full health. That E-75 is probably just going to be able to face tank the IS-3. Ooh, having a cheeky shot through the doorway of that house there. Bloody Fear obviously not realising that he can be seen, but luckily the E-50's come in and tracked him. But his shot unfortunately just took out a little stone wall rather than hitting the E-75. He's got to play it careful, because like you saw earlier, that E-75 can shoot through that little doorway. That's obviously not an issue anymore as the house has now been destroyed. So the 2 medium tanks doing a good job of getting some good damage on this E-75 while Bloody Fear baited him in there. But it looks like that E-75's just had enough and was trying to focus down that E-50. And the Tiger II looks like he's turned up from the rear. Going to be having no more of this. Going to track him down, get a nice shot into his underbelly, and that is going to be all she wrote for the E-75. So that leaves an IS-3 and a Tiger II. And it looks like the E-50M is trying to indicate that they are coming from that direction. So they're both just going to be waiting around here again. Bloody Fear and his IS-3 is just going to play bait and hide out next to the cap zone and try and draw them both in, while the E-50M is going to try and flank around the sides. They're saying that they've still got like 800 hit points each, so it's going to be a few shots from the 2 of them to be able to take them out. Oh, well, actually, 661, that's 1 shot from each of them, should be able to take out this IS-3. But as you can see, the E-50M hasn't got many hit points himself, and he's only 1 shot away. Oh, nice shot there on the front of that IS-3. He was looking at the E-50. So it looks like our medium tank actually presenting himself as bait, which gets the IS-3 to take his gun away from his target, and that allowed Bloody Fear to get a shot through his front plate, letting his reticule close in for as long as he dared there, and then taking a shot. Luckily that went straight through the front and was able to finish him off, picking up his Top Gun medal there. And it's just a Tiger II left, and that Tiger II should only be 1 shot away from death. Luckily, Bloody Fear's got enough houses between him and the Tiger II there. If there wasn't as many houses, that Tiger II could have just charged him down, and his last shot would have taken him out. But as it is, there was enough houses between them that Bloody Fear could have just backed off there and allowed his gun to reload, giving the Tiger no choice but to sit on the other side of this house in a bit of a stalemate. Looks like he's going to try and poke out just his side armor there to try and lure Bloody Fear into firing. No, he's poking out his front plate. There we go. Presents his side armor, but he's got that nowhere near at the right angle, and unfortunately gets himself blown up. Not quite side scraping at the right angle there, and the Tiger II gets himself blown to pieces. So awesome first replay there from Bloody Fear, showing the IS-3 and being a real team player there, going off to the cap zone and single-handedly resetting that one early on in the game. So awesome replay from Bloody Fear. Thank you very much for sending that one in, and there's another one coming right up. And our next replay is from the user Lieutenant Gruber, or LT Gruber. He's driving the WZ-131 on a standard battle on Ensk. And the 131 is the Tier 7 light tank for the Chinese. Just going to be doing a little bit of side scraping down the centre here. Going to try and spot a scout early on. Spots that Lux, who for some reason crashed into a train car and isn't reversing out of there for some reason. Decided to just sit perfectly still and get himself blown up. So a little bit unfortunate from him, but it looks like they were a couple of platoon buddies, and that Lux has dragged a T-28 into this game. These guys are probably fairly new to the game and have no idea how much destruction is about to befall them. Lux already getting himself taken out, and that T-28 won't be long to follow. So it looks like the Allied team has all decided just to lemming train into the centre of the town there. Everybody committing to that left-hand flank. And even the KV-1S, who was left behind, has decided that he wants nothing of that right-hand flank and has also decided to head over into the town. So if the enemy hasn't committed as many forces... Oh, nice shot on that T-21 there. So if the enemy hasn't decided to commit as many forces to the town, they could end up being overrun right here. As you can see, they've committed some tank destroyers and some fast tanks to this flank here. Going to see if he can get a shot. Oh, manages to take out that T-28 there finally. And if he can reload his gun in time, this 152 won't be far behind. And there we go, able to take out the Su-152 in short order. So it looks like they are pushing fairly heavily on this right flank, realising that there is nobody here to defend. KV-13, though, unfortunately doesn't realise that he can be shot underneath the train cars, especially when you're in a nice small tank like the 131 here. Because it's so short and so squat, its gun is able to get underneath the train cars and apply some easy damage to these tanks. Managed to get a good track on that KV-13, and fingers crossed should be able to just keep him pinned there. As you can see, he's turned his turret onto target, but because that KV-13 is slightly bigger than the 132, he can't get his gun underneath the train cars and get any return damage, and he just has to sit there head in hands and allow himself to be destroyed. So that was 5 kills now so far for Lieutenant Gruber. This T-71 is going to cause some serious problems though. She's going to have to just play it a little bit more carefully now. Luckily though, this T-71 isn't getting much damage back onto him. Probably only had a couple of shots left, and he's obviously hiding now as he's got to reload that cannon. And the WZ-131, for all its faults, does at least have a decent amount of hit points for a light tank. So it's able to take a few hits there, 880 hit points. So almost, well, more hit points than a KV-1S in fact. So it looks like the Lemmings, who decided to descend on the town earlier, have finally returned to mop up what's in the base. The cavalry has arrived, but it's okay because Lieutenant Gruber's already on the case, and he's done a sterling job of defending his own base here and just stopping the enemy from pushing too far in. And now the enemy is getting closed on from both sides. And Gruber's getting some good damage on these enemy tanks here, and that leaves just one IS-3 caught in the southern part of the map there at the bottom, and he's getting closed in on by a lot of different guys. He's going to try and sneak around and hide as best he can around these buildings, but as you can see, he's got 3 tanks on him in the south there, and there's guys coming in from the north, so this one is definitely a foregone conclusion. And he's not going to be long for this world. Gruber's going to try and get in there and get a little bit of damage on him himself. Maybe pick up the kill with this nice fast-firing cannon. But as it is, gets shot in the ass by his own Jagdpanther there, and someone else is able to pick up the kill. So, unfortunately not able to get himself a Top Gun medal there, but still having a sterling game, putting up a fantastic base defense and stopping the enemy from just totally overrunning them in the base there. So brilliant bit of light tank play there from Lieutenant Garuba. Thank you very much for sending that replay in. And as always, there's another one coming right up. And our next replay is from the user Jesse Dex. That's Jesse Dex, and they are driving the Tiger P on a standard battle on the live Orcs, and the Tiger P being the tier 7 heavy tank for the Germans. It was added not long after the game's release. Originally there was only the original Tiger, and that led on to the Tiger 2, the VK4501 and the Mouse. But this one was added fairly soon after, and obviously now this one leads on where the Tiger used to, or some other such. It's been a while since I actually looked at the German tech tree, so don't quote me on anything that I've just said. It could all be bollocks. So going to be doing the thing that the heavy tanks do, which is take to the town. Going to be playing the map and playing their role correctly, but going to be heading across the open field here. Going to be relying on the heavy armor of this Tiger P to just bounce any shots that the enemy may get upon him. Luckily, it looks like he's got these buildings as a nice piece of cover here, although he's been spotted out by somebody, so he's got to play a little bit more cautiously and a little bit more aware. But it looks like there's no enemy in any kind of position to be able to get a good hit on him, although it did look like the enemy is committing quite a large force to this town, so they may have to be careful. T20 having a shot there, but not quite landing. And Jesse able to get a good shot in return. Not able to reload his gun in time to get his second shot on target. Spots out the MT25, and that's the new tier 6 light tank for the Russians, the one that now leads on from the KV-1S. So it'll be interesting to see if he can achieve anything in this battle, it being quite a new light tank. Incidentally, if anybody's got a good MT25 replay, please send that in. And I'll get it shown as soon as possible, because I'm interested to see what, if anything, that tank is capable of, or if it is just another piece of crap. So yeah, please, if you've got a good MT25 replay, send that one straight in, and I'll get it made into a video as soon as possible. Oof, takes a big hit in the front. Not sure what the MT25's doing there, really. In my opinion, it probably should be more of a scouting tank, but it looks like he's sitting at the back, and, well, we'll never know what it is that he's doing. So KV-1S making a daring daylight charge across the marsh there. Looks like he's probably come straight through the water, and going to be trying to come at the enemy from the sides. Unfortunately, it looks like he's been spotted out. Did manage to get a good hit on that Jagdpanzer there, but the AMX has his number. The Jagdpanzer's also returning fire. He's quite nicely defended down in this dip here, so the AMX probably hasn't got a shot on him. And he did indeed take out that Jagdpanzer, but he's about to get shot in the back of the head. And there we go. The M445 finally able to pick him off. So a little bit of a daring move to try and push straight across the marsh there, but foolhardy in the end and gets himself taken out. So the enemy's committed a large proportion of their forces to the town, which means that the Allies are probably going to get overrun there. On the plus side, though, it looks like they should win over on the train tracks, as the Allies have committed a much larger force themselves to that area, so it should kind of just be a bit of a roundabout game. They'll get beaten in the north here, but win in the south, and then the two teams will either fall back or go for base captures at the same time. Normally what happens is those two teams then turn around, convinced that they will be able to win the exchange because they've just won so handily on their flank. So both teams, fresh from victory, think that they can just totally overrun the enemy and tend to turn around and clash somewhere in the centre of the map, and then carnage ensues. So Jesse Dex just going to be dropping back here to defend his base. going to be using this barn here and the hill with the road across the top as cover. There's the T-20 that he managed to land a shot on earlier. He hasn't got very many hit points, so he's probably going to have to just fall back. Not quite able to get a shot on him, unfortunately, and realises that there's quite a lot of enemy forces, so deciding that falling back is probably the smart thing to do. Luckily, the enemy is a little bit worse for wear there. They've taken quite a sizable amount of damage from pushing the enemy in the town. This T-20 is trying to make a break. Trying to make a break for it across the field. Unfortunately, hasn't quite got the speed or the element of surprise enough to be able to make it round the back of this Tiger P. A little bit of a shame, and gets himself taken out. Not wanting to push on too far, although it does look like the enemy isn't in particularly great shape, not really having very many hit points between them, so deciding now that his armor's probably up to the task. I'm just going to sit here out in the open, trying to lure the enemy into making a bad move. Telling his allies to go for the cap there, but it looks like some of the enemy have actually dropped back in order to deal with that situation. Looks like that guy on the minimap is a KV-1S. But to be honest, the 3 heavy tanks down there should easily be able to deal with a KV-1S and a Jagdpanzer. So this should be a victory for them. Jesse Deck's doing a good job here of just holding off the enemy in the north, making them think twice about pushing. As a little shot there against the IS, it was never really going to hit, but let's face it, the IS was driving into cover, so he's easily going to be able to reload his gun in time before the next exchange happens. Been spotted out here. You can see just the turret of this IS going to let his reticule close right in before he has his shot, and he's able to take him out. So that may be everybody from the town all mopped up now, but it looks like the rest of the enemy have dropped back in order to defend their base. As you can see, the allies are kind of dropping like flies down there. It's only the AMX M445 and the Tiger left against that looks like a KV-1S and that Jagdpanzer. Not really sure where the Tiger 2 is. Don't think we've seen him yet. Well, he's probably somewhere over here. He's already picked himself up a kill. Nice shot there, able to finish off that 1S. And there's that MT-25 from earlier, but just going to ignore him for the time being. Well, one reason, because he's on the other side of a hill, and no tank in this game is able to shoot through a hill. Is that the Tiger 2 over there? Not quite sure, as it's out of our render range. It's the Jagdpanzer getting itself taken out, and that leaves the M445 and a Tiger to square off against. Who is that? It is the Tiger 2 over there, as this is the KV-1S here. KV-1S takes a big shot in the face, but he's not really concentrating on Jesse Dex here, although he probably should be. Although I'm pretty sure he's got 6th sense there, so don't think that 1S was able to spot him out. And it looks like somehow the enemy has been able to pull this one out of the bag. Sorry, that wasn't a Tiger 2 from earlier, it was just a Tiger. Not sure why I thought that was a Tiger 2, maybe my eyes deceived me. But it looks like that Tiger was able to finish off the Allied Tiger and the Allied AMX M445. And these guys are just going to exchange fire with each other across this field. Luckily, he takes out the Tiger's tracks, so this Tiger's got nowhere to go. And he has the superior frontal armor. So it looks like a couple more shots and he should be able to take out this Tiger. That's that MT-25 finally going for a base capture. Just going to wait for his gun to reload. Oh, not quite able to finish him off there, so a little bit unfortunate. He's going to have to sit around and wait for one more shot. and he's able to take out his counterpart, the Tiger, and that leaves just this MT-25, who is going for a base capture. Tiger P, not known for its straight line speed here. It's not the quickest tank off the mark for its tier, being particularly slowly, as you can see here, only going around 32 to 33 kilometers per hour. And this MT-25 will indeed finish this base capture in around about 45 seconds. So if the MT-25 is playing smart and is right at the back of the cap, and possibly, I'm not sure if there's any foliage, can't quite see from here. Looks like there isn't any foliage, but if he's right at the back of the cap and remaining perfectly still, he may be able to remain hidden until he's able to finish this base capture. And if he's able to sneak this one away at the last second, this would be a crying shame, as Jesse Dex deserves the victory here from holding off the enemy in the north, pushing through the town there and making them think twice about rushing for that cap zone, which is a little bit of a shame that his allies in the south there decided to get themselves taken out by the remaining enemy. On there you go, with 5 seconds to spare on the clock, spots the MT-25, takes him out with 2 seconds to spare. So absolutely awesome replay from Jesse Dex there, picking up 7 kills in the Tiger P, and holding, like I said earlier, holding off the enemy advance coming through the town, and then going to support his allies in finishing off the push in the south. So brilliant replay there from Jesse Dex, thank you for sending that one in, and there's going to be one more replay to come. And our final replay of the day is from the user Rappy Pappy. That's Rappy Pappy, and he's driving the Foch, the AMX-50, on an encounter battle on Lakefield. And the AMX-50 Foch is the Tier 9 tank destroyer for the French. And anybody who's been following this channel for any amount of time will recognise the name Rappy Pappy. He was the guy who won the New Year's Gold competition with his monster 11 kill replay in the E100, as voted on by you guys, and he won himself a fantastic prize of 5,500 gold. So yeah, that is this guy. So let's see how he plays with tank destroyers, because we already know he can play with high level heavy tanks. Like I said, he's monster replay, getting 11 kills in that E100. So he's going to be making a beeline for the cap zone here with the encounter on Lakeville. I'm going to see if he can pick off the early enemy cappers, but it looks like they are on the other side of the church. So he's just going to cover off the street here, knowing that he has the speed to be able to get into position and get his gun set up before the enemy arrives. Although it looks like the enemy's already here in quite a large force. It says there's at least 3 of them in that cap zone, and they're going to finish this one off in under a minute. IS getting a little bit too excited there. Comes around the corner and takes a monster shot in the face. Finds an AMX there. Tried to get a little shot on him to finish him off, but unfortunately he was going just a little bit too fast. Taking some shots from the side. Luckily his front armor's nicely sloped enough to be able to bounce those shots. A lot of them hitting on that gun mantlet there. But the shots from the side will be going straight through this thing. Obviously the armor on the French tanks isn't the best, although this one is a little bit of an exception to that rule. It's getting some good damage on everybody here on this IS, the T-29 and that E-75 that's decided just to push through with reckless abandon. Not quite able to get him, but he can get a good shot on that T-29. You see the E-75 just decided to come in and force himself down the throat of the allies here. He knows he's got that armor and those hit points to be able to just do this and try and overrun them. And that IS just deciding to get the hell out of dodge, as he's not going to be able to stand up against an E-75. E-75 saw that Rappy's had his shot, so decided to come through. but not quite able to get his shot through, just rushing it a little bit there, not quite picking out the weak spots of the Foch, unfortunately, and he was able to reload his gun in time and get even more damage on this E75. So, I mean, it was a good idea by the E75 to try and rush forwards and use himself to just kind of brute force the Allies away, while his allies got the base capture off. But it looks like just a little bit of miscalculation and unlucky play by himself. Got himself destroyed without really achieving much. So, a little bit unfortunate there. A little bit of a miscalculation by that E75. A decent plan, but a little bit badly executed, unfortunately. So, it looks like the enemy's now decided to flank around the side of them, because for some reason the Allies all decided to push through the swamp. See, now that's confused me, because normally you don't get very many people going down the swamp on a normal battle on Lakeville. Normally you get most of them go down that road and then through this town here. But for some reason, whilst on an encounter where the objective is in the town, everybody has decided to rush down that marsh. So, not quite sure what the logic behind that one is. But as it is, Rappy's just going to be dueling with this IS-3. Not really sure if this IS-3 knows where the weak spots are on Foch, or maybe he's just having some horrible lag because he played that duel absolutely awful and just got himself taken out there. Nice shot on that T-44, able to take him out from the rear. So, it's just himself left in the town now. He's been in the town the whole time and doing a good job of taking the enemy out and keeping them out of this cap zone. Looks like he's getting flanked by this Indian Panzer here. He's going to have to play this one a little bit carefully. If we just have a quick check of the mini-map, his allies are all now just jacking each other off on this road for some reason. All just obsessed with getting the kills. But at the end of the day, if it wasn't for Rappy Pappy in the town here, they probably would have already lost. This Indian Panzer just deciding to turret hug. Unfortunately, not really realising that one of the weak spots on his tank is that turret ring there. As you see, Rappy just put 2 successive shots through that area and pick up the kill. So there's still a few of the enemy capping here. They've got a full health Pershing and a T-29. So you're going to have to play this one carefully, even though he is in the superior tank. Finds a T-71. Base capture gets to... Ooh, got to 100% there. But he's just able to reset it down to 75% just in time. And snatch that one from the jaws of defeat. He's going to have to get a shot on somebody else, like this Pershing maybe. Decides to put himself in the cap zone to stop that one for the time being. And there we go, able to reset it down to 37%. This T-29, not sure what he's doing, as he has the rest of the cap percentage points. And then he takes a hit and gets this one reset all the way down to 5%. So Rappy doing an amazing job of just sitting here and just denying these guys the victory, while his teammates, like I said earlier, they're all just jacking each other off on that road. Not really sure what any of them are doing, because there's no real shots that they can take to try and help this situation, unfortunately. Gonna go for the ram kill. Yes, he is. Managed to pick up the last kill of the match with a ram for a Top Gun medal. So... not really sure what his allies were doing there. They just got a little bit of bloodlust and decided to go for the kills on that road. But like I said, if it wasn't for Rappy Pappy here being in and around this town the whole time, resetting the cap and killing enemy tanks, then they would have lost long ago. So absolutely awesome replay from you. Thank you very much for sending that one in. That is going to be it from this episode. Don't forget, if you enjoyed it, leave me a like or favourite. Stick a comment in the comment section below. Let me know exactly what you thought of each replay or any of the replays. And don't forget to have a go at guessing which tank and which map features in the thumbnail for this video. You can win yourself a shout out in the next World of Tanks video. And again, don't forget to check the description for the details of the public TeamSpeak server that you can go ahead and use to your heart's content, and the download file for the mods that I use. So thank you very much for watching, everybody. I've been Maxwell, this has been World of Tanks, and I will catch you next time.